As Attorney Walter Hnot, I want to go into this really quickly. I know you've seen a bunch of the other YouTube videos, basically going through the massive increases that we're looking at. The reports are epic bad. I'm not going to go into how bad they are, other than just imagine something drowning and then putting weight on top of it, and then taking the ocean bed, splitting it open, putting your foot on top of whatever is already on top of it, and then basically putting any weight you can find, anything, a turtle, a snail, a giant, great white shark, whatever, just put it on top like an elephant and let it sink. And that's what the economy is going to be doing right now. All right. So rising rents, gas, and food prices push U.S. inflation to 40-year high of 8.6%. CPI shows. This is from Market Watch. This was produced today. Highest U.S. inflation since 1981. Shows little signs of easing. So basically, we're looking at a Jimmy Carter affair. The numbers, the cost of living jumped 1% in May on the back of higher rents. Now, remember, there was a time just prior to this where the increases would only be per year, like 1%, 2%, not like each month was the amount it used to be per year. Let's keep reading. All right, so 1% in May on the back of higher rents, gas, and food prices, pushing the rate of U.S. inflation to a 40-year high of 8.6% and making it hard for Americans to afford everyday staples. Remember, Stephen Goss, chief actuary on behalf of the SSA, said, it's like 3.5, 3.6% increase, somewhere around there. That's what it'll be for 2022. Nope, 8.6. The increase in the consumer price index in May was more than triple the gain in the prior month. Oh, God. Terrible. Economists polled by the Wall Street Journal had forecast a 0.7% advance. I guess they didn't think Biden was this bad. He is. Although, remember, you can blame the economy on a lot of things. Although to blame it consistently on one president as a result of it consistently going up, that's fair. That's fair. We're getting there. We're getting there fast. All right. The increase in inflation over the past year moved up to 8.6% from 8.3%. Remember that 5.9? Remember that 5.9? Remember that 5.9? Yeah, you do. 8.3. That was a little bit more realistic. A new cycle high. The last time inflation rose as rapidly was in 1981. Very interesting. Thank you, Shirley. Thank you. Excellent. Very cool. Excellent. The so-called core rate, it's $2.99 donation. Little thumbs up. Very good. The so-called core rate of inflation, which omits food and energy, increased by 0.6%, a tick higher than expected. The increase in the core rate over the past year slowed to 6% from 6.2%. However, the Federal Reserve views the core rate as a more accurate measure of price trends, but the higher cost of gas and food has generated much of the public and political outcry about inflation because it's not good. Next one, rising food and energy prices also added the cost of doing business for many companies ranging from grocers and restaurants to airliners and fertilizer producers, and they're passing those costs on to consumers, let alone farmers. Big picture, the surge in inflation has shown little sign of cresting. Cresting is where we're doing this. It's going to get better. It's not. It's going to get worse. There you go. Gas prices have jumped again to record highs. Food costs keep climbing, and rents, here we go, also have risen sharply. Prices are likely to show another big increase in June. And in my opinion, what's going to happen is we're going to have price increases through September. And then that's all going to combine and collide with the mega storms, and it's going to be just bad. The Fed is raising interest rates to try to slow the economy and tame inflation, but it will take time. The central bank also risks inducing a recession in its effort to quell inflation. I don't know why they keep saying that we're going to risk a recession. A recession is absolute at this point. It's going to happen. It's just, I don't know why they just don't admit to it. The sharp increase in prices in May and another likely strong reading in June is sure to keep pressure on the Fed to stay aggressive, which means making it harder for you to live by lessening your standard. Speculation about a rate hike pause in the fall looks far-fetched. So they're going to keep making that rate increase to borrow money higher and higher and higher. What does that mean for consumers? They'll have to keep paying higher prices, but their incomes aren't growing fast enough to keep up. The longer that goes on, the more strain it will place on American households and hurt economy. Remember that $1,000 a month? How that was going to fix everything for everybody? It wouldn't fix it. Remember that $15 a month? How that was going to fix everything for everybody? Still not capable of fixing it. It's not. It's just not. It's not. The companies can't pay it, and the employees, they need more than that. More bad news. Gas prices rose again in June and hit a record high. The website Gas Buddy said the average price of a gallon of gas in the U.S. topped $5 for the first time ever. Key detail, the cost of gasoline climbed 4.1% in May and accounted for a big chunk of the increase last month in the cost of living. Food prices leaped 1.2% last month. Grocery prices have shot up 12% in the past year in what's the biggest increase since 1981. Rents rose 0.6% in May. Now remember, rents, that's big money. That's big money that you're paying out. Now, over here, the cost of shelter has climbed 5.5% in the past year to mark the largest increase in 40 years. 5.5% of rent increase is massive. Shelter costs account for a third or more of a typical household budget. Higher inflation was not just limited to a few staples such as food and gas, however. Prices also rose last month for new and used cars, airline fares, medical care, home furnishings, clothes, auto insurance, recreation, education, and alcoholic drinks. How dare they? Also, one thing I didn't note here is that the prices in the not too distant future for mailing things is going to go up with a price hike. Yay! The big worry on Wall Street is that inflation is shifting to services from goods. That's because rising prices in services, think rent, hotel rates, and plane tickets, tends to be harder to reserve, as is often a sign inflation is becoming embedded in the economy. And when they say embedded, they mean it's sitting there and causing a recession that's going to be epic. All right, until very recently, most of the inflation in the US was concentrated in new and used vehicles, gasoline, and other consumer goods. And if you go back even farther, you may remember the housing crisis of the Great Recession that they claimed took 2 years, but yet toppled our industry for, what was it, 5, 6, 7, 8 years? It's a big recession. Inflation adjusted wages, meanwhile, fell by 0.6% in May. That's good. So let's read that again so you know what it is. Inflation adjusted wages, meanwhile, fell by 0.6% in May. Not great. In May, service inflation, excluding energy, jumped 0.6% and it climbed 5.2% over the past year, double the increase compared to last summer. Good luck to people trying to pay for their air conditioning and heat. Earnings have fallen 3% in the past year after taking inflation into account. So earnings are down, the value of the dollar is down, the increase in price of products to buy is up, and the cost to basically have employees do what they used to do is significantly higher. If worker pay keeps falling behind, Americans will either have to dip into their savings or cut back on spending to offset the sharp increase in prices. Either approach would be bad for the economy and also bad for the president. I can assure you that. Looking ahead, all of the bad news in today's CPI report, the worst was broad-based, said corporate economist Robert Frick of Navy Federal Credit Union. Each time a new category adds significantly to the CPI, that means high inflation will last longer and that the Fed is more likely to crank up interest rates higher and faster. U.S. inflation sped up in May with nearly every item zooming higher, and another big core jump suggests the peak might be some ways off. 50 basis points is now the minimum the Fed will hike in coming meetings as it races to catch up, said senior U.S. economist Sal Guterro of BMO Capital Markets. Okay. Now, with that said, the Fed is raising interest rates to try to slow the economy and tame the inflation, but it will take time. So as of this point, the problem is, let's see, where's the rest of it? Oh, that's pretty much the whole thing. So here's the problem, guys. I know, and I just wanted to give you a really quick video. I don't want to spend a lot of time because I have to pop outside and get to work because it's after 5 p.m. on Friday. And you know what I do? Get out there and work on the farm. It's so much fun. Yay. So one thing I want to point out to you guys is that get to know where all of your local, food pantries are. Get to know where all of your local assistance groups are. Get to know your local churches, your local synagogues, and the programs that they have to offer. Get to know who has bicycles that you can go ahead and get for cheap. Try switching over some of your transportation to a cheaper method. Try to get extra dog food while you can. All these things, absolutely incredibly important. Looks like it's raining in New Orleans from Peggy. Very good. Linda, Lady Sanders, man, oh man. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, no. I saw the diesel fuel thing on the internet was a little bit cheaper today. But in New Jersey, which is what you're seeing, it's still like over $6 usually. So it's just absolute insanity. Absolute insanity. But anyways, guys, weird fact about New Jersey. When you go to pump your gas, they have a person pump for you. Like that's part of the gig, as opposed to pretty much most other places where they expect you to get your butt out and pump it for yourself. So I will catch you a little bit later. Have an absolutely wonderful day. Thank you, Peggy, for the shout out. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I'm going to get out there and start digging dirt, weed whacking, mowing, and living the dream. Yay! All right, guys. I'll catch you a little bit later. Have fun. Bye-bye.